Hey folks, Gary here. Happy Wednesday morning to you. I hope you're having a really good start to your Wednesday. Throughout this week, we've been talking about victory in Jesus, and we're going to keep doing that for the rest of the week. Now, victories, if you're watching sports, usually a victory is pretty obvious. Like whoever has the most points on the board at the end of the game, they're the winner. But sometimes it's not so obvious. Sometimes there's crazy things that take place, and it's like, oh man, they didn't stop that play, or they stopped that play too soon, or this, that, or the other thing. They got to run the play over again, and or racing. It's like, oh, look at this angle. That guy actually won, and that can be really, really confusing. It really gets people upset too because, yeah, my team won. What do you mean? What do you mean my team didn't win? And then the other side's like, whoa, hey, my team actually did win. So that can get really crazy when the victory is not obvious. Which brings me to the scripture we have today. So I'm looking at John 19, verses 28 to 30. And this is Jesus on the cross. And here's what it says. Jesus knew that his mission was now finished. And to fulfill scripture, he said, I am thirsty. He probably didn't say it like that. He probably said, I'm thirsty. I have no idea how he said it. But anyways, a jar of sour wine was sitting there. So they soaked a sponge in it and put it on a hyssop branch and held it to his lips. When Jesus had tasted it, he said, it is finished. Then he bowed his head and gave up his spirit. Jesus died on the cross. He was crucified, then buried in a tomb. Now, for those who did that, for the chief priest that wanted that to happen, for the guards that were there and nailed him to that, to the folks yelling "Crucify," to Satan, they had thought they won. They had thought they were victorious, that they had won something amazing. The priests and all kinds of, they would have thought, they put down this guy that was going to cause a whole lot of trouble. The Romans thought, we put down this guy who was going to cause a whole lot of trouble. Satan was like, I did it. I killed the Son of God. I actually killed him. And Satan must have been celebrating and having just a huge after party with all the demons, only to find out that he was mistaken. That when Jesus said it is finished, Jesus wasn't saying that he was finished. He's not saying like, oh, that's it for me, I'm done. He's saying the mission was finished. And the mission was to bring salvation to you and to me. The mission was to pay for the penalty of sin. The mission was to pay our ransom with his life. And it was finished. It was done. And the victory was Jesus's. It was his victory. And we know that because he rose from the grave, right? He rose up on the grave on the third day. And it's obvious who won the day. There's no disputing that Jesus was victorious, which must have come to quite a shock to the demons and to Satan when they thought they had won it all. But in fact, they had lost everything. It's victory in Jesus. And because Jesus was victorious on the cross, in the tomb, rising up from the dead, because he was victorious over sin and over death and over the grave, you and I get to live a victorious life in him, enjoying the presence of our Father and doing so without any sin or any barrier between us because Jesus has paid for it. There's victory in Jesus, and we get to walk in that victory. So go have a fantastic Wednesday with that on your mind.